All right, let's get this started. Hey everyone, it's Janzer, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about what's salting me. So, topic. Binge watching Netflix is socially acceptable by pretty much everyone, and definitely socially acceptable by women. But gaming sessions and gaming and playing video games is not as accepted, maybe just in my generation or something, but is definitely not very accepted among the women that I meet or have talked to, or maybe even have, just read some stuff about, So from what I'm, in my experience, video games is looked down upon. That's how it's always been. And it's more accepted now. But even though it's more accepted now, it's more accepted very generationally, I would say. For example, I would say millennials have it much easier with video games being an accepted part of their life because technology is an accepted part of your everyday life. And you guys are the kind of future, the forward push, so to speak. Whereas my generation, I'm a Gen Xer. Ugh. Although I think all this, of course, all of this labeling and sticking people in columns and all that is the same old bullshit that's always going around. I hate that kind of crap. And I'm only giving you an idea of these kinds of generational things in order to help you get an idea of like where my position is. Although I think a lot of you may have kind of figured that out by now. Some of you may not know a damn thing, and that's about me, and that's totally fine. But basically, how do you all feel about when people talk about binge watching shows on Netflix, HBO, whatever it is, DVDs, if anybody ever watches DVDs anymore, or Blu-ray, when you hear people in your everyday life that are not gamers specifically, especially the non-gamers that will criticize gamers for playing video games, and for me, that comes from women. Women will look down on video game playing. The ones that I know, a lot of the ones that I know, or the ones in my city, they look down on video game playing. They look at it as a immature thing, which, yeah, it can be, definitely, as a childish thing. Okay, not all of it, that's for sure. I mean, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. Jesus, it's bringing in so much money. Anyways, they also look down on it, and, the careers behind the video game industry, definitely not childish amounts of money and lives that are being pushed at this idea of video games. But yeah, I guess I have a little bit of a beef with people, even in my job. I don't really talk to people about video games because it's not really a very accepted kind of thing. And so I talk to y'all about video games. That's why I'm on, and I talk to y'all, and you guys get my salt. But basically, what's your experience with, people giving you flack for playing video games, but yet they'll turn around and they'll go binge watch or talk about the accepted society thing about binge watching shows now on Netflix, or to turn it another way, I think that for a long time I tried to defend myself with playing video games by comparing it to people that but people that follow sports. Football season, basketball season, that stuff, you'll have people that follow sports and they're deep in that stuff. They so far, a lot of them, to the point to where not only is it, it's a major part of their life. They'll follow it on TV. They'll go to the events. They'll play fantasy football leagues. They'll play their, rec sports or whatever. Maybe they'll get the guys together, play some sports. That's an accepted thing. That takes up a lot of people's time. And so here's the other thing. Binge watching Netflix shows. Women find that perfectly acceptable. They a lot of the ones that I talk to, they'll find going home and drinking wine a totally acceptable thing, and talking about drinking a bottle or two, and as if that's an acceptable thing to do every night. I don't know if they're drinking a bottle or two every night, but man, they sure talk about it like that. And then, binge watching shows, or how many shows they've watched, or how they're addicted to TV, or how much they follow Hollywood and actors and actresses and that kind of stuff. How much of that time of their life is spent sucking in the popular culture. And that's acceptable. But video games is not acceptable. At least for me, it's very much not around the people that are around me. Very much not an acceptable thing for me. So yeah, I know those cultures exist out there clearly. I watch it on YouTube with like the two best friends. Those guys are in Canada, and they're going out and they're having they're a little bit deeper clearly, because they're making their lives about video games. Video games are a part of my life. My life is not about video games. There's a big difference there. And what I do with this channel, even though it is video games, it's because this is one part of my life that I don't have real life people that I can talk to about. I almost, and here's some sacrilegious shit that I'm going to talk about right now. It's more acceptable in a lot of ways to declare yourself as being homosexual or gay than it is to be a video game player. And that's not a fair comparison at all. But I swear to God, it feels like I would be more accepted if I went to a bar, and said, hey, this is, which I don't go to bars, I don't drink at all, so the beer part is kind of a bullshit part now. Anyways, but, I feel in some cases, I swear to God that in social situations, there's a lot of times where I would be way more accepted if I, just was a different type, like a sports type of person or something like that, And then maybe it's just my city, and that's the thing that's why I do this YouTube thing. It's my outlet, it's my hidden life. That it's another reason why I don't put myself on camera or anything like that. I don't want my job to be connected to this. This is a personal thing. I don't want my, it's like, hey, we know what you were doing Friday, or oh, you were off that day, and yet you put up a YouTube video. It's like, well, fuck you, it's my private time. I'll do what I want. Yeah, so this could be a little bit controversial what I'm talking about here, but honestly, I don't think that I think that it's ridiculously stupid that it's perfectly acceptable by a lot of people to talk about and glorify binge watching, glorification of that. But talking about playing video games gets you shamed. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And yeah, I like the term salty bits. I think this is going to be a salty bit. All right, guys, let me know what you think in the comments, and we'll see you next time.